go into Marion County. Okay.
Let me know when you guys are ready.
Alrighty. Hamilton County Drain. Is the Mary here?
Yes, good afternoon.
I don't know.
At the November 24th meeting of the Drainage Board, hearing was held for the reconstruction of the Mary Johnson drain. Subsequent to that, we identified that the information that we used to develop the report incorrectly labeled the drain as the W.C. Inman and W.C. Inman Arm 2. They are indeed the Mary Johnson. It's the Mary Johnson drain, Arm 2 of the Mary Johnson drain. So for the record, we wanted to reflect that there was an error, a Scrivener's error in developing the reports, and as well as the orders for partial vacation and reconstruction signed by the board. And so we present those today for re-signature by the board with the correct drain name.
Is there any issue with the public notice that went out?
The public notice went out to the same watershed and reflected all the same work. It's just what was referenced as the name of the drain. Everything
Was
else,
that in the notice?
it was in the notice, yes. It
Well,
was
I'm
labeled as
asking
W.C.
the
Inman.
opinion of our attorney on this.
Gary, is this, what's the effect on people that, I mean, legally, we had to give notice to these people, but
Correct.
factually, were they downstream in that they could have been adversely affected by this?
Yes, so everybody that was impacted by the drain was noticed and
But could
received
there have
notice
been
of,
confusion because of the drain name?
possibly.
I think we need to renotice it.
I think we do too.
Okay.
That's one of those issues that it could show up 6 years from now, 10 years from now, but you only need one person.
Yep,
So I think we need to re-advertise.
and we can do that. Apologize for the error. Again, nothing else did change. The scope of it, the affected watershed, nothing else is going to change. The fact that the developer's paying for it. As a matter of fact, one of the people that received notices was here at the hearing, but if we need to
So it's a
rehear it.
developer?
It's a developer-funded project.
Okay, can we
Reconstruction.
allow them to proceed with their work? I mean, that's the problem.
Yeah, I think,
Is there going to be an adverse effect on the discharge from the developer's property that would give someone not only legal right because the notice was not in the same name, but because there could be adverse?
no, the reconstruction itself, the amount of water, none of that changes. It's merely just the name of the drain that was included in the notice. Nothing else changes.
So the project is having sufficient detention that there is no adverse effect
Correct.
on the statutory discharge downstream?
Correct. And again, there's no cost to the landowners.
And there's no cost to the landowner.
Correct.
If we're discharging we're not adversely discharging the off-site, I would feel comfortable not doing notice again.
That's fine. Well, then we're fine to go ahead and,
Yes. I don't, in theory, somebody should have been given notice, but if the people are getting notice are not gonna have any change in circumstance, then the liability would be
it's all on site for the developer.
all on site.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry for the question. No, there is off-site reconstruction. There
But
is
it-
off-site reconstruction.
But the reconstruction off-site is not going to adversely affect the discharge rate to the downstream people.
No, they are conforming to the county standards for discharge rates. And none of that will change from what was already approved by the board.
I think any liability we would have would be if there was accelerated discharge downstream, and if that is factually not the case, I would feel very comfortable recommending that we go forward, because there is notice, but potential adverse under the
Okay.
surveyor's report does not exist.
Is there a motion
So moved.
Second.
for the Scrivener's error?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. West Arcadia Miller Arm.
Yes, there are two statements for basis of just compensation associated with the Miller arm of the West Arcadia drain. These are based on appraisals that were completed, and with approval from the board, these will allow the county to make offers to acquire these easements.
Is there a motion
So
to
moved.
approve?
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We have hearing requests.
Yes.
Yes, before you is a petition filed by Lennar Homes, along with the non-enforcement request, plans, calculations, quantity summary, and assessment roll for the Baker Village arm for the O.F. Henley regulated drain to be located in Carmel. This is for a new regulated subdivision, and at this time, we recommend that the board set a hearing for this proposed drain for January 26th,
So moved.
2026.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And the second hearing request is for Eastwood Village, which is on the Stevens and Compton drain. It's a petition from Lennar Homes of Indiana LLC. We have on file plans for the proposed reconstruction for a portion of the Walter Stevenson arm of the Stevens and Compton drain, as well as a portion of the Sarah Compton arm of the Stevens and Compton drain. The project is to be paid for by Lennar Homes of Indiana in association with the proposed Eastwood Village subdivision. The drain will be reconstructed in conformance with the construction plans on file with the surveyor's office, and we recommend approval to set a hearing on January 26, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
No final reports. We have two variance requests.
Yes. Before you are two variance requests. The first, both of them pertain to the same overall project, but the first one is for a sanitary crossing in which the applicant is asking for a sanitary line to be placed 9 inches above the regulated drain tile, with the short justification being that the sanitary sewer and regulated drain invert are both fixed, and the proposed elevations are the only way to really serve the lots south of the regulated drain with a gravity sewer that isn't under pressure. And then the next one for the water line is that there is not adequate cover over the water line for the frost protection if the water main was installed over the top of the drain. So, and also to let you know that what they're asking for basically is a 18-inch vertical separation between the invert of the drain and the top of the water line. So it would be going underneath our drain. But yeah, the justification is for the frost protection. The water main was installed over the top of the drain, and then installing the water main under the drain to the current standard would result in a water line installed at about 16.5 feet below the ground. So those are the short justifications. Representative from the engineering firm and the development team is here to answer any kind of questions that
Make a
I can't answer.
motion to approve the variance request for the sanitary and the water line crossings
Okay.
for both of them.
Yep, and then also, just be advised that the variance agreement for the two variances outlining the various conditions have also been signed by citizens and will need to be signed by you guys as well.
I just have a question whether the 18 inches on the water line is sufficient clearance if we need to work on the drain. I mean, I understand gravity, we don't,
Yes.
without a lift station, they have a problem, but water, you don't have that same issue.
Correct. With that 18 inches and the fact that they're underneath it it should not inhibit our ability to maintain the drain.
Okay.
It is close, but if I remember right, that 18 inches does meet the 10 state standards for separation.
Okay. Any other discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Like I said, in addition to those applications, there's also an agreement form, but I don't think the sticker was there for that one, so.
Okay. Okay, we have 2026 maintenance contracts.
Yes, I could, if I could, I'll request that those be tabled to the meeting on the 18th. We are still going through those contracts.
Motion to table.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Then non-enforcements, we have 1 through 4 indicate support by the surveyor's office. Is there a motion on 1 to 4?
Motion to approve non-enforcement summary sheet 1 to 4.
Any discussion on those?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Then we have Wilson Nagel Drain, Habitat for Humanity of Greater Indianapolis, slated for discussion.
Yes, thank you. This is slated for discussion due to the, my recommendations on edits to the form. The form does not specifically address the specific issue in reducing the easement. So as a bit of background, the existing drain, the Wilson Nagel drain, has the statutory 150-foot easement over it. And there is an existing house located within this easement. Habitat for Humanity has purchased this lot, and they are looking to rehab the house and then sell it. And the fact that the house is within the easement, they're wanting to address that so they can close on the house. Again, none of our forms really fit this particular issue. They just want to reduce the width of the easement so the house is not in the easement. So my recommendation was to strike out the language requiring that the improvement be removed, or the county's right to remove the improvement. I did not think that we would ever take steps to remove the structure from the easement. So that's why I wanted to discuss it with the board.
Yeah, okay, I didn't feel real comfortable with that approach.
Yeah, but I guess the real question is how far, I mean, we've got our certain distance from the structure, but how close is the existing condition? And is it reasonably foreseeable that we're going to need an easement to go in there and fix something down the road?
So we would recommend that it be reduced to 25 feet. If they were to have replatted this, we could do a subdivision non-enforcement, just like we do when we do C secondary plats. to reduce the width down to 25 feet. That's considered adequate to maintain the drain in the future. I can't say specifically how close the house is, but we were willing to support the reduction in the width to 25 feet. But they were not planning to replat this or have it associated with a plat, which is referenced in the subdivision non-enforcement.
But you feel that the existing condition of the house and the location of the pipe would give our contractor sufficient room to get in there and repair or replace
Yes, that 25
with the
feet,
granting of this easement,
the non-enforcement,
or the
correct?
non-enforcement?
Correct.
Well, what about, how many lots are involved? Because you got right next to it, another structure that's sitting square in the regulated drain too. What is that?
So it's going to have the same issues if the lender or the mortgage company or whatever raise that. So another avenue that we could take would be to classify this as an urban drain and reduce the width of the easement, which the board has the discretion to do.
Yeah,
Which I have no issues
If we have to
with.
get in there, then it's their
Yeah.
liability.
Yeah, that's the question, because if we are going to reserve the right to get in there, and us getting in to do the work could cause damage to either one of the structures, either
Correct.
the house or the outbate, then we've got to make a condition of this that we're not liable.
Correct.
Which, and if the title company gets in the way, that's, all we're doing is potentially pushing a problem down the road. And I agree with the board, that's not a good idea.
And I would have also, and I had a note as part of this discussion, that if we wanted to add in as a condition of this approval, a hold harmless agreement, should we ever need to do maintenance on the drain itself, I think we could do that, certainly.
But if we're gonna have to do maintenance and we're gonna have to tear down part of a building,
Well, that'd be the thing, in this case, it'd be within that 25 feet. What we're trying to do is reduce the width of the easement, we just don't have an avenue to do that.
well, reducing the width of the easement and on a go-forward basis, understanding is reducing the width of that easement gonna be adequate for future maintenance or
Well,
reconstruction?
I don't know how it is with that outbuilding sitting there. I mean, you're right on, I mean, the outbuilding is still within the easement. The way I look at this easement. If that's a double lot.
Yeah, I mean, the only one that they've mentioned specifically here today is the one that's in yellow. If there's an issue with,
Well, who
On
has
that
the
other
other
lot.
thing that's in the,
oh,
Yeah, that's right
the-
up there in the corner.
these have existed for decades.
Okay.
This is a, we would probably find this throughout
But is this,
the town.
but my point is, you're reducing the easement all the way through that building. If you stopped at the property line with the yellow, that might make sense. I'm just not understanding how you do this. Or why you would continue to reduce the size of that easement.
Yeah, I mean, this is specific to this lot. If we want to tackle the bigger issue, I'd be happy to do that. Again, classify this as an urban drain and reduce the easement width itself.
what the label is, we don't care about. But is there going to be adequate area for us to do work that we would normally use as an easement? And, you know, I'm sorry that people are built too close to the easement and they may have title insurance problem. They may have to exclude the maintenance building from their title policy, but as long as we're not writing a check, I don't care about it.
Right.
Yeah,
No, based on the size of the tile and the depth, the 25 feet is adequate. It's adequate.
So we can go in there and work on it even if we grant this easement.
Yes.
Even with
Without-
that shed thing.
even with the shed or whatever the heck's in that
For this
right-hand
particular
corner.
lot,
Yeah,
again, the shed's on another lot. I'm
Well,
just
then
looking
why
at,
won't we stop the reduction at this property line? then.
We're just dealing with this request is all. Like I said, if we need to address a bigger issue, we certainly can
No,
do that.
the request, from what I understand, is to reduce it on this particular lot that has the yellow house on it.
Correct.
So that's the furthest we would reduce the size of that easement, so we don't have to address the shed on somebody else's property
Correct.
down the road.
In fact,
Like I said, I'm trying to fit this into our current framework, which is a non-enforcement that's tied to this lot, not another lot. We don't have a petition from the other lot.
but is the language of your variance restricted to this lot?
Correct.
And its boundary on the side we're talking about is the lot boundary, not the shed that's on the neighbor's
Correct,
property?
it's on another lot. My understanding is it's another lot. So this is a non-enforcement that's recorded with the lot in question, not an additional lot.
Well, then why don't we just do a non-enforcement on this lot?
The only reason I said was because this non-enforcement form allows us, they'd sign that we have the right to remove the house. That was the only nuance that I was trying to eliminate, which I don't
I
think we would
don't
ever
blame
do.
you there.
Well, but we can't. I mean, they're in the easement, they built in the easement. Habitat knows they're buying a house that's covered by a regulated drain. I don't want to take out that protective language, because
Okay.
who knows?
Yeah,
It
and
may be
that's-
the lady that has the house on the hill that's gonna fall in
Right.
down the road. I have no idea what the topography, but I personally won't support this unless it's a non-enforcement for that
Yep.
area.
And I totally respect that, and it's the discussion I wanted to have to see how the board wanted to do this. It's going to affect the closing, I can't say how, but that could have been a risk that was assumed
And
when they
did anybody
purchased the
do
lot.
hydrology on this to make sure we're doing somebody a favor and not a disservice?
Yeah, like I say, in terms of protecting the drain, I feel that the 25-foot is adequate for
Is
future
adequate.
maintenance. The drain
I
itself
still
is.
think that we ought to
Should be
have
nine.
some language in there that if we have to get in there and there's damage done,
Right.
It's not our
then
fault.
it's not our fault.
Yeah.
I'd be fine with just that.
And I would be okay with that as well, if we
I
were
would be
to,
fine, that's
you know,
what
it's
I
not
would
on the
do.
form, but if we wanted to add it as a condition of this approval.
Yes,
So we just use the
Yeah.
regular non-enforcement
Would,
that has all that stuff in it like we do for everybody else.
It just doesn't, that's what it doesn't.
yeah, I
The
get it.
subdivision non-enforcement does, this doesn't.
Yeah, I get it.
This doesn't. This
So-
is good for patios and whatnot where it's, the house doesn't.
so right now, in the existing condition, is the house,
We have a lot of.
Is the house
non-enforcement
in the
for things
easement?
the-
Yes, it is.
so, and the shed on the neighbor's property is in the easement.
Completely in the easement,
That's
yes.
gotta go back.
So if we do just the house side, because the shed, I don't feel sorry if somebody can't get title insurance for a shed. And I don't know that that's something we would want to fix. But as far as the easement is in the house, is this easement phrased so it only occurs to the X side of the easement?
It is, it would just be on the side that's shown, yes. We'd still have the 75 feet on the other side.
Where the shed is, and we can tear the shed down.
No, the shed's still squarely within the easement. So, but we could still work it from the other side. Yeah. And are you from Habitat? I mean, would you like to hear from Habitat for Humanity?
Sure,
Just a couple of comments, I think, to clarify.
yeah.
Good afternoon, my name is Andy Metzel, I'm an attorney at the Taft Law Firm, and I am here on behalf of Habitat for Humanity of Greater Indianapolis. I also have with me Chris Barnett from Habitat, and he might be able to answer any factual questions. Just to clarify, Habitat already owns this property. They actually received permits from Arcadia to do rehabilitation on this existing home that's been there for decades. They've already put the money in and rehabbed the home. It's just a matter of being able to get a homeowner in it and living there and occupying it. And so, as Mr. Howard astutely mentioned, it is a title problem for us, so we filed for the non-enforcement application. The house, the existing house that's been there for decades, is actually about 38 feet from the center of the regulated drain. And so we've only requested 25 feet, the reduction to 25 on only that west side. So there's even an additional 13 feet between what we've requested and additional space to do plenty of work without ever coming in contact with that home. The shed that's been there for decades, not on our property, not a part of this request, a little bit different than a occupied residence, obviously. But there is 38 feet. It doesn't, we haven't asked to go completely up to the line where we feel like that's going to create some impediment if work needs to be done. This drain was reconstructed, I believe, back in, I think 99. So it's been a while, but I mean, it was reconstructed and didn't interfere with the house at that time. So whether it ever would in the future for future reconstruction, there's still that additional buffer from the 25 feet that we requested to allow for other opportunities for repair. So we feel like there's a lot of space. I could throw it up on this map if you need to see it, but I think you guys have that.
We do.
In color, which Mr. Barnett colored in, which is helpful for me visually as well. But we really, we.
But are you asking for a reduction in size or a non-enforcement?
Well, we're stuck with what we have to work with, which unfortunately we've been advised was just this non-enforcement language in this petition. And so we proceeded in that way because those are the conversations that we've had that we thought would be most helpful to this board and also to the process. Is it a perfect fit? No, it's not. But it's the form, it's what we have to work with. So I wasn't allowed to create a new one, and I understand why.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense. But we just lined through those
Well,
provisions.
the only way I think we should ever vary from the non-enforcement is if you ask for a reduction. Non-enforcements need to have that language in it, because we still maintain that right.
Understood.
Or we try to reduce down the size of the easement.
That'd be the other, if we classify this as an urban drain, which it should, it meets the requirements for that, then the board has complete discretion to reduce the width of the easement.
Well,
Maybe that's what
and
we
I
need
don't
to
have a
do.
problem reducing to the property line of your client's property. I don't want to reduce it all the way through because we already know someone's going to lose their shed at some time, should there be a problem.
I think we need to be much more precise in our description of the easement, not just our generic non-enforcement. And,
So what would
As
you
I look
advise,
the-
Mike?
well, I think the language, and I haven't wordsmithed the language, but I think the language has to be clear that the only non-enforcement is on the side where the yellow building is. And I think that language should
makes
be
sense.
exactly what whatever it is that would adversely affect that house. And if we can if we're only reducing it 5 feet and that gets away from your foundation and that gets you title insurance, then that's fine. But everything else should remain in the easement. And if the people on the other side come in, they come in. If they don't, they don't. But at least
It does say, it says 25 feet from the west side. I mean, that's the reduction. It doesn't discuss the east side.
Well, the west side, but you need to terminate it at the property line.
Correct.
Right,
This would only
right,
be,
Yeah.
But that's not what's depicted in there,
Yeah.
that's the problem.
I don't think we give them 1 square inch over into their property line.
well, I
They've
mean, this
got-
non-enforcement would only be applicable to this lot.
Right.
It's the
Right,
whole lot.
right.
It's a 3-acre lot. So the lot is much bigger than where this simple house is located. So this is actually the lot. This giant, it's not giant, it's 3 acres. But, so if you're talking, we'd have to have a new legal for only this portion there to the south where the yellow is. Because you can see with the pink and the green, the pink is the existing center, and then the green is what we've proposed. And so if the whole lot is this giant here.
Well, I can't see from there, bring that up there,
Oh, I'm so
please.
sorry. Mind if
Yes, please.
I- All right, you guys have a copy of this. It is a little bit,
Where's the lot?
okay,
Your
so the
client's
lot is this whole lot here, and the only place where your focus is on this shed for this property,
I see no reason to give you non-enforcement up here.
up here.
There's no reason.
Right, there's no reason for that.
There's no need
So
at
if-
this time.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with you.
So this is what the best I'll vote for.
What, the green stays no matter what.
Right.
And the only variance would be this,
No, we're not going above that. This is their lot line.
okay.
This is our
It
lot.
goes this
Okay.
way, and that's,
This is a completely separate lot up here. This is not our property. It's just, it has a point there, so if we have to ignore that guy's property, unfortunately. So if we redefine what this is, I guess we could create a
what,
new
and show
legal
me
for it.
again what you think this is.
Is the green line where you want the reduction
Where's your
in the
north
easement?
terminus? Okay,
And the,
so the easy to write the legal, it's through the parcel, except for that part.
there to there.
Yep,
Right.
there to there to there. That's your terminus
That's the,
point, and you
on the
call it
property
on
line.
that property.
It'd be likely that the legal would go something like this to actually make this its own lot, right?
Well, I don't care about the lot, it's just the
Yeah, it's just the
non-enforcement
legal
part.
of the non-enforcement part.
Yeah.
Yes, I
And,
understand.
and any future problem they have on the other lot, that's their problem of having to move their house.
Understand.
And that's
There's
not our
nothing here
problem.
yet. Nothing.
So you get a non-enforcement under our, in my opinion, the standard form. No, we haven't,
Yeah,
I
we
just
got a
couldn't
copy.
figure out
It's just
whose
hard
was
to
whose.
see. Yeah, I understand that. Do you want
My bad.
I just use the regular form, non-enforcement. Because the other choice is we reduce the size, and I don't know if we can do that without a public hearing. But the language, the hold harmless stuff, 2 and 3,
All this is gonna stay in there.
all the markups need to be included. It's really not our.
You're talking about the border being,
No, I'm
Basic.
talking about this stuff.
yeah,
It all goes back in.
yeah.
So what, from a legal standpoint, does the motion need to be to indicate that?
What we can do is, we will attach a legal description of the non-enforcement area and use the standard form. This is really
Okay.
what would take place.
And will all of that area be within the area that was noticed for this public hearing? We're reducing it so
Well, it's not,
that.
actually,
not a
it's
public
not a
hearing.
public hearing.
Yeah,
It's not a
it's
public
Oh,
hearing.
okay.
Mike, it
Yep.
would just be a simple approving of the non-enforcement with our
Okay.
standard form with the legal description of where the non-enforcement applies to then?
Yeah, just the terminating from the south,
Great.
from the
Yep.
west side, going through is depicted terminating at
Yeah, it would
the
just be-
north side
Yep,
of this
exactly. It would just be
particular
that.
adjoining
Yep.
lot.
And I think we know enough that we can get a surveyor
Yeah.
to mark that up, so
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's all right.
Like I said,
Commissioner,
this
just
is
be
one part, but I
approve the
wouldn't
non-enforcement
want
standard
storm
form
and retain all
with
the
the
rights to
appropriate
remove.
legal attached that will be provided, worked
But I
through by
guess
the
it would say
legal
that we're not gonna
department.
Yeah.
enforce our rights.
So moved.
Well, no, so, Mike,
Do you want to have the approval today, subject to
Yeah,
them?
subject to legal review. Yeah.
Subject to legal review.
Yeah.
But there's
That was
not gonna
my-
be anything in recorded form to go to the title insurance company. That's where the rubber meets the road until we sign that document.
Yeah, that's
works
that's
for
part of
you?
my motion. Is that part of your second?
That's very much like it.
All right.
Okay.
Or we could just do this. And we could say,
Real estate,
no, and sign something.
really full.
We could to get them going.
You comfortable with what we
Yes,
gotta have?
like I said, I couldn't fit, the peg didn't fit in the hole.
Okay,
And we're just
well,
trying to find a way to do that.
so you're gonna bring that
Markouts are
back
not
and
accepted
get it
for-
to us for signature. And you won't be able to go to the title
We have
company
a
until we do it.
revised picture that goes,
Yes, because they won't have what they need, correct?
so then we could sign if you mark up the thing. I think we can get it done today, just
We have
by,
a motion and a second.
Yeah,
I
we
know.
already did.
But I'm just, then we had the question of, can we move forward? Or do we have to have something signed? I think we can doctor up something at this meeting that gets them closed if they need to. So,
The motion would be as per new legal description approved by legal department.
new legal description or depiction of area.
Is the closing of immediate importance?
They said it can wait for 2 weeks if we were to bring
Okay.
this
So
for the
my
18th.
motion
Okay.
stands.
Yeah,
All in
mine
favor?
too. Aye.
The
Aye.
duct tape and baling wire.
What do you got? Water availability study.
Yes. There's you have before you a letter outlining the circumstances of, I'll say essentially funding the water availability study for 2026. The state, the Indiana Finance Authority has requested some type of affirmation from the county that we will fund our share of that. So I'm really just essentially requesting permission from the board to make that commitment. We do have the county partner with the Finance Authority to fund the study in 2025, and we are still working through that contract. The approved 2026 budget for the surveyor's office does include $225,000 for a contract with Interra to continue their services associated with the water availability study. We have not yet developed that contract for 2026 with Interra, but that is in process. But the board, the Finance Authority rather, I don't know if it's associated with their funding of it, their part for 2026, but they have requested a commitment from the county that we would fund our share.
How much are they putting in?
Half of it.
Half of it.
Half of it.
Did it, I
50%.
missed
Yeah,
that in the
50
letter. Did it
50%.
say that in the letter?
I didn't put that in the letter. It was,
Yeah,
but they
that's
are
what
funding
it
half
is, is
of it.
half of it.
That's what it's meant to be.
Yeah, that's it. I make a motion to approve.
Second.
And we understand that this represents half of the total
Yes.
study cost.
And it's in his budget too, so did I hear you right, Gary? It's in your budget too?
It is in my budget
Yeah.
specifically for Interra.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, and I will send a letter then to the Finance Authority. Is this also, do I need something from the Board of Commissioners, or do we consider the Drainage Board?
Yeah, but we're gonna have to sign off on the contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it'll have to come to the commissioners. Once you get the contract
Once you get the
done,
contract,
once you get that done, then you'll bring that to the commissioners
Yes.
to sign the contract.
Right.
yes, yes.
Okey-dokey. We have no violations, no spills, no surety acceptance, no surety releases. We have change orders.
Yes, you have 3 change orders. The first one is for the J.S. McCarty Drain Phase 3, change order number 2. It is in the amount of $4,435 for fence and tree removal associated with conditions of an easement acquisition. And that will bring the total contract up for $1,728, and we recommend approval.
So moved.
Second.
But on these forms, I would ask that we know how much has been of what we call appropriated or assessed for the project. Because we get a contract amount, we get a contingency amount, but I don't know what's left on the actual assessment. And I assume when you present these to us, we have room within the actual assessment. But let's, because if you looked at this 10 years from now, you wouldn't be able to figure out what we did.
Truth be told, I thought we did put that on there, so I will make sure that there's on there, because usually.
I looked all over it. I
Yeah.
may have missed it, but I
Yeah.
have a contract amount, I have a contingency, but I'll have a running, starting with,
Yep,
okay.
yes, we will definitely, I know it's on the one from Mary Wilson. I'll make sure it's on all
Okay,
of them.
all right.
You're
All in
talking about
favor?
assessment
Aye.
or available funds.
Yeah,
Was
come-
whatever has been allocated, because we've got different ways to fund things, I want to know what
What's
has been,
Yes.
what we would call generally appropriated, but not, doesn't work
Yeah,
here.
generally what was approved through Picker Reconstruction, whatever the assessment amount was, that
It's available
it's
funds.
available before we
Right.
need another hearing, so.
Okay.
The second one is also for the J.S. McCarty Drain Phase 3. This is change order number 3. There were some changes in the quantities, and then also some plan changes that occurred as it was being constructed. The total change order is actually a deduction of $27,900. We recommend approval.
So, second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
And the third one is change order number 5 for the Mary Wilson Oak Park Drain reconstruction. And this is some additional stone that was placed associated with one of the crossings, $3,602.06. And this one does show
Well,
total
you
of the
need to- we gotta use the right terminology,
yes.
okay?
So this one does have US, so the contractor's bid is $744,614.65. And with the difference, there's a difference still yet of $63,350.08.
And I don't wanna drive you crazy, but when we approve things, we approve on an assessment basis before we even accept the contract and advertise.
Yep.
And it's that number we
Yes.
need to follow, not the bid plus contingency. I just wanna make sure we're on the same page before we get ourselves upside down on contracts.
Yep. I will make sure that that is in there.
Okay, thank you. Did we vote on that?
Nope,
All in favor?
Aye.
I don't know that we had a motion, did
I
we?
don't either.
I thought you did.
No.
I don't think so.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Now we're all on, got all three done. Before we move on.
Thank you.
Construction updates. We still have time?
I know one, Clara Knott Drain, I have not yet responded to an email from the residents. Some of the residents that were here at the last meeting for Central Avenue, we allowed them to speak at the last meeting. It seems like they're expecting something formal from the board. We've already ordered the drain to be reconstructed. I don't know if the board wants to.
There is nothing the board can do. It's ongoing. The only thing we could do is stop it, which we did not do.
Right. I agree. So I will
Yeah.
respond to them to say that the board took no action, the project will proceed. So
I will tell you that I was a little confused too, because I saw Commissioner Altman when I saw the email come through, and I thought, well, we didn't approve that in the last meeting. And then, having some discussions with her and looking back at the records, we already did approve it.
you already approved the project.
We already
yes.
approved it,
The
so,
board, in
We
this-
were giving them the opportunity to be able to speak against it and then decide if we wanted to deny it or not.
Exactly.
And so I think you probably need to be specific
Yep.
of how that is, because I can understand why they were probably a little
Yes,
confused
so-
on it.
I wanted to, before I responded, I wanted to talk to the board about it, just to affirm that we
Yeah.
are moving forward with the project, because that's exactly how I saw it. No,
Yeah,
the board did not take any official action other than to proceed as the project was approved. So,
correct.
Excellent. My understanding is Morphe is mobilizing in there to start the project.
Perhaps that's why people raised the issue.
Right.
Yes, they did, yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
The bulldozers.
After X years.
Mary Wilson Oak Park Drain, that project does continue. Hortonville Drain, have not received an update from the contractor. I know that they did order the structures and they're probably waiting for those to be fabricated. A.F. Fingerman Drain, that project is substantially complete. My understanding is that the contractor has done the punch list items, so we will schedule a follow-up meeting with that. And I also know that, Adam, we're trying to meet with some of the landowners that
Yeah, I'd like to be in that meeting too.
Yes. So we'll schedule that meeting to talk through that, whatever, their claims. William Lear Drain, J.S. McCarty Phase 3, that project is also substantially complete. We just did several of the change orders. West Arcadia Miller Arm, that project, we are still acquiring easements for that, and that's also a meeting that some of the landowners have requested, so
Have we
I will
put any
schedule that.
dates out to those people?
Say
at
that
all
again,
yet?
sir?
Have we put any dates out to those
No,
people to meet?
it's on my to-do list to do.
Okay, yeah, I just want to make sure we get it set.
Yep, to schedule a meeting. Emily Vestal Drain, that project is waiting for the Mary Wilson Drain to be completed. Elwood Wilson Drain, Craig Holler Arm, we continue to try to get a schedule from our contractor for that one. He has yet to start. And then Anchorage Drain, that is the one where we are working on the temporary construction easement. We did meet with Mr. McKinney last week, actually staked out the easement, the temporary easement for him to see so he could visually see where it is. My understanding is he has 1 or 2 remaining concerns, so I'm hoping that we can wrap that up.
Is Tim involved in that?
Yes, Tim was actually, I know Tim is here. He was out on site with.
When do you imagine we're gonna get this closed up? I mean, this has been out there for a while.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as we have that easement, I mean, that's all we have. We
Yeah.
can't get back to the project site. So, we are trying. And that is it for
Did we
construction
file
updates.
condemnation on that?
I think we could have, but I don't know that we did.
Did we ever file
Because I
for
think
eminent
we
domain?
were just trying to work it out with the landowner.
Yeah, we're trying not to,
Yeah.
Well, we may not have grounds if we have alternate means.
yeah. I mean, we have an alternate means, but as we know,
Right, it's
all of
not.
the improvements that have made in within the easement, including swimming pools
Yeah.
and all that, we'd have to clear like 200 trees, and those are gonna have to be then mitigated through the Army Corps of Engineers. It's just, this really is the only way that we've identified. We've looked at
We
every
just
other
need to get this thing
point of
moving.
Do
access.
eminent domain. I mean, this could go on forever.
I mean, if we can't get an answer here soon, we're gonna have to do a condemnation.
If it
This
can't
is,
work out by
this
the
has
end of the
been
year,
going
then
on way too long.
We start that process in January. We can run through with Gary.
Why
to
don't
make sure
we
we're
tell
on the same
them
thing.
we will file within such a date, because we need to either go or not go voluntarily.
Okay.
So you guys work out the date, but until you put a line in the sand,
Yeah, I
this
still
could go
have
all
a
next year.
lot of the homeowners association, they keep pegging me.
Well, I mean, for what it's worth, though, I mean, a lot of the residents
Yeah.
and what they've done that's preventing us from getting back there.
Yeah.
So, they've put us in a hard spot with the improvements they've made to their lots. So, I hear them, understand it,
Yeah.
but
Was
if,
induced.
if some of those improvements hadn't been made, we would have had unrestricted access and the project probably would be done.
Well, the alternative is to go in the way it was designed, do all that, and reassess all the cost against the watershed.
Right.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, we're,
Connor and I met with the board
Is that the,
one
yeah.
night, yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Okay.
really, in reality, we're trying to be good neighbors.
Yeah.
And
Now we're kind
That's-
of putting pressure on the other people.
Yeah.
Follow
Okay.
the rules. Okay. Anything else?
No, I have nothing else.
Board want to hear any more updates?
No, I just know the attorney's got a
Mhm.
couple things
No.
that I know that they need to bring
I
up.
do.
One thing we talked to, I don't know if he's a contractor or what this individual is actually.
He is.
Gary, what is our insurance requirements for pollution coverage?
So, and I know we've been talking about it, that we had discussions about pollution coverage that I thought was in the ordinance, and it's not. We had lots of discussions about that, and I wasn't aware that that had been taken out, because pollution coverage is important for the work that our contractors do, that do work with the Drainage Board. So it's in there, the ordinance says that we can request it project by
Correct.
project or by vendor, or by specific vendor.
And I guess my question to you, Gary, is then if your understanding was that you thought the specific dollar amount was in there, that might be the answer, but if it's not, and it says we reserve the right to add it, and it's a case-by-case basis, it sounds like for this individual, is just determined that the $1 million per occurrence, $2 million aggregate was what you determined?
So
that would be necessary, or is that-
here's what happened with this
Yeah.
particular one. So for the board's benefit, we have a request from a contractor associated with the Arcadia Commercial Park, which is located on the south side of Arcadia. It discharges directly to the Wilson Nagel Drain, that As part of that project, they want to relocate a portion of the Wilson Nagel drain. In order to do that, they want to locate the drain. So we have a new permit, it's been in place for, I guess, just a little less than a year, that it allows work to take place within regulated drain easements. And the form itself, the permit, just discusses that the petitioner will have to have insurance. Doesn't specify the type, the amounts or whatnot. So I worked with risk management to determine what those amounts were. So that's
they-
how we landed
on the million
with where
too?
we're at and with what that contractor was provided. That's the backstory there.
That makes sense. I mean, I think that he felt like there's other contractors that are not, he felt like he was being signaled out.
Right. He's
In that
not.
particular case.
So-
And I understood where he was kind of coming from
And
when
I do.
he was bringing it up.
Right. So really related to that though, again, I was not aware that it didn't make it into the ordinance, so.
The dollar amount you're talking about, Gary?
No, just the fact of, so our maintenance contractors, so everyone that's under contract, so this is where his
Yeah,
information's likely
yeah.
coming from, is they are operating without that insurance coverage. Not a whole
So he
lot.
was correct in that.
I mean, really,
part of it. He
depending
really
on
was.
which contractor he's talking
Well, the
about.
only reason that I bring that up is because he's contacted other contractors, and they're telling him, well, why are you doing this when I didn't have to do it? And so.
he said, "I thought
I
they were."
understand why he's saying what he's saying.
I do too. So in this particular case, we are covered by the ordinance that it would allow for a specific instance where we can require that coverage. I guess what we need to decide is, do we want to require that coverage of this contractor for this specific work? That could be a board action moving forward. I've already made a note for 2027, our maintenance
I
contracts.
just think it needs to be clear.
But that's
And
what I'm
I
saying,
think
it'll-
that everybody needs to know that that is what it is.
Absolutely. So
And I don't think that that's been effectively communicated.
Well, I think it might have been that, Gary, did you guys tell him it was $1 million too? I just don't know if you liked the answer that he was provided individually.
Well, I think, I can understand why he didn't like the answers, because he found out other people are not,
so
have the same standard.
So there's two things, is that we always attach the ordinance to our contracts. Again, we didn't know
You
that
didn't
that
know.
was excluded. So
Get it. I
now,
get
starting
it.
in 2027, I'm gonna
Yeah.
have a specific requirement for drainage board maintenance contracts and reconstructions that they have this coverage.
That's
Wanna
why
go
I
forward,
think
Dave.
it has to,
Yes.
from this day going forward, be very clear.
Correct, it'll be, again, any reconstructions, but specifically the 2027 maintenance contracts, because the 2026 contract bids
Yeah.
were put in without that maintenance, that insurance coverage. So
How-
yes, I'm gonna I have that handled,
I understand where he was coming from.
and I
Gary,
do as well.
Yeah.
Gary, is there a number, liability insurance coverage in the amount of what?
So that was what risk management established as those values,
Okay,
so.
so we
If
gotta.
we need to take another look at them, I can.
But it needs to be in the specs on a go
It'll
forward,
be in the specs
expressly
moving
on a
forward.
go forward basis.
Again, attaching the ordinance and saying you need to comply with these insurance requirements, I didn't realize
Doesn't tell you
it
anything.
wasn't in there.
The
Who is
amount.
gonna communicate back with him?
Well,
Is
do
that
we
the
need to vote
attorney?
for the
Is
board?
that-
Do you feel strongly enough about having this pollution coverage? I mean, it really protects the board in terms of if they're working on our
If
tile
that
and
is
there's a
what safety
spill.
and risk is telling us now, that we have to, from a legal standpoint, that we have to keep, then I almost think that we probably should. I'm not the expert in that at all, but
Does
Go
that-
ahead.
Doesn't that mean we're gonna have to re-advertise?
For the 2026 bids, if we wanted to, we could. I mean, I could,
Or we could waive it for this.
That's what I- we
could waive it
26
for
and go
this.
forward for
I
27.
like that. We could waive it for
Waive it for
this.
this and then refer
Yes.
to.
Well, any
Yeah.
future, it's not a date, it's
Yeah.
anything we advertise hereafter.
I
We'll
agree.
have
That
that
was
in.
Agreed. I make a motion.
Not just the annual
So
bids.
moved.
Second.
Any more discussion? Do we
Thank
understand
you.
what we're doing?
we do.
And who is going to communicate with Mr. Hartley?
I can communicate with
If
Mr.
you
Hartman.
could, that would be great.
Actually, we already have his insurance certificate without that coverage, and so
Okay.
we should be good to go.
Can someone please communicate with
Yep.
him? Thank
Yes.
you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. whatever. I think
That's it.
we've had as
we've
much
had a
fun
lot.
as we can take
Yeah.
up here.
I will say that, you know, for what we've done today is, to use the analogy I used earlier, fit the peg in the hole. This was a perfect storm of issues that our pegs don't fit in the holes. So I really appreciate the discussion and the input from the board. It's, I don't know why these focused on this meeting,
Yeah.
Just lucky, I guess.
so.
But if you could with Mr. Hartley, because I think he's moving forward, trying to accommodate.
Like I said,
and get-
we got the insurance coverage at the end of last week,
Okay,
so
okay.
we can definitely move him forward.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion.